EpiPens are life-saving for people with severe allergies, but they have come with a big price tag. It forces some to gamble on their chances of a deadly reaction.
Now, in January, a new state law took effect that was supposed to ensure pharmacies offer EpiPens at a much more affordable rate. As Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski shares, some pharmacies are not complying.
Right now, I'm on JV. I'm hoping to get moved up.
Jackson Pugh does not back down from challenges.
Rugby is just more action.
He's a high school athlete, and on the field, he counts on support from his teammates and coaches.
It's a good cause here. I'm really proud of you for that.
Thank you, Coach.
That's great.
Off the field, his food allergy forces him to rely on support from the medication inside this syringe.
It's hard for some people to understand kind of the fear of living in a world where something as small as like a Reese's Pieces could be life-threatening.
Like thousands in our state, Jackson develops a severe reaction to peanuts.
I'm fortunate enough to where my parents, they have the money to afford it every year. There's some people who don't have enough money to afford it.
And that's why Colorado lawmakers stepped in last year. A pack of 2 EpiPens can cost up to $700 for those without insurance. State lawmakers thought they found a solution, and the governor signed this bill, bringing costs down to $60 for qualifying residents.
We have been on the hamster wheel of EpiPen purchases for the better part of 14, 15 years.
Jackson's mother understands the financial impact of epinephrine injectors. Both her son and her daughter have serious peanut allergies.
We estimate we paid north of $25,000 in this particular product. I think that's conservative.
And that's part of the reason Carrie and Jackson testified before lawmakers last year.
We're very excited to see lawmakers in Colorado step up and stand up for us.
But here is where the success story gets complicated. What happens when a law is nothing more than words on a piece of paper? That's right. Colorado families are now learning that some pharmacies in the state are not following the new law, not selling the EpiPens for the discounted price. When you hear this law's in place and yet pharmacies aren't following the law, your reaction?
To put it mildly, disappointed, anger, frustration.
Families have reached out to our investigative team saying the program's not working. Reaction?
So it's disappointing to hear.
State Senator Dylan Roberts co-sponsored Colorado's EpiPen law. When somebody ignores a law that you put into place, what's that like?
It's disrespectful to the state of Colorado by these big pharma companies, and then it's disrespectful to Coloradans, especially ones who need this life-saving medication.
So the question now, what is the reason pharmacies are ignoring the new law? Denver7 Investigates wants to get that answer. During the next several days, our team will visit several local pharmacies, asking questions and looking to identify the real reason why some are ignoring this law. Your reaction on the potential impact our test might have?
Would like to see how this interaction goes. To see it, on camera live is going to be really helpful. It'll put a real face to this, and it will help us with the next bill that we are going to have to bring.
As a mom, what's your message to the pharmacies and the pharmaceutical companies that are saying they're not going to offer these prices?
Shame on you.
Which brings us back to the Pugh family. Carrie and Jackson also want to know why some are not following the law, a law carrying a potential $10,000 fine to violating pharmacies. When it's not being followed, what's that say?
Is telling me that those with the power to do something don't care. My kids' lives are valuable, and I can't protect them all the time. Love you, bud.
I love you too, Mom.
Carrie and her son Jackson are also very interested to see what we uncover. Our team hopes to answer if the problem is pharmacies are simply not aware of the new law, or if they are choosing profit over patient care, overtly electing not to comply with the new law, and the assistance of significantly reduced prices on those EpiPens. In the coming weeks, we will report back to you with what we discover. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
It's still kind of just nerve-wracking, like thinking if I eat something wrong that it could be life-threatening.
He is one of more than 500,000 Coloradans living with serious food allergies. Tonight, a Denver7 exclusive uncovering significant problems with the distribution of a life-saving medication, epinephrine injectors, more commonly known as EpiPens.
I just think it's kind of unacceptable that they're like so cheap to make and they're like extremely expensive.
And that expense is the reason why on January 1st, a new law was enacted designed to significantly reduce the costs.
But an exclusive Denver7 Investigates hidden camera investigation uncovered a rocky rollout in the implementation of the state's new law. Questions about government breakdowns and problems in properly informing pharmacies around the state.
Now, Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski unravels the cost-cutting confusion.
Us as pharmacists and us as a company don't know what to do because
You are hearing the voice of uncertainty.
I honestly think most places just didn't know how to handle it.
wow, that sounds really frustrating. Oh, heck yeah.
Should this video be a wake-up call to the pharmacy board?
Absolutely. I think it should be a wake-up call to everybody that is involved with this process.
State Senator Dylan Roberts reacting to what our hidden cameras uncovered.
I think your videos show a clear confusion.
Video showing local pharmacies confused about this law, co-sponsored by Senator Roberts and signed by the governor last June. A law with bipartisan support designed to significantly reduce the cost of epinephrine injectors for tens of thousands of Colorado families. Were your expectations that pharmacies followed this law?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's my expectation. That was the governor's expectation.
Specifically, the new law acknowledges rising costs of epinephrine auto-injectors make this life-saving medication difficult or impossible to obtain for many people. It says the intent of state lawmakers is to establish an affordability program to ensure Colorado residents have greater access to epinephrine. Here's why. A set of 2 EpiPens can cost up to $700 for the uninsured in our state. The new law intended to drop that cost to just $60 by simply filling out this form. So 2 months after that law took effect, using hidden cameras, Denver7 Investigates visited several pharmacies in the metro area to see if they are following the law.
You're my first person to do this.
First person?
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing yet.
And he was not alone. 8 months after the governor signed the law, and 8 weeks after pharmacies were supposed to sell EpiPens for just $60, our test found the law clearly not working.
Have you heard of it?
No, I have not. So it's like we don't know how we would process it on our side to make it be that price.
We heard confusion and frustration from both employees behind the counter and pharmacists.
It's a good thing that they're trying to reduce the price of EpiPens because paying $300 for one is ridiculous, but there's, they passed that, but there's nothing to actually take that price down.
The Board of Pharmacy just released a thing. Right now, they don't have an answer. So right now, we're all waiting to see what the manufacturers do.
Reaction to what you heard there.
Yeah, now I'm seeing a lot of different reasons why this is not working.
It says to just fill this out and bring it here, and it seems like it's on the pharmacies to just override the price, but we can't. We're not getting any type of payment, reimbursement, nothing from the government. There's no direction as to what we're supposed to do other than try to get in contact with the manufacturer.
She's a manager. What's your take?
Well, she's trying to do the right thing, but she clearly understands the frustration with the lack of accountability from these big pharma companies and a lack of information of how she can fix the problem.
You passed the law. Whose job was it to make sure these pharmacists know what's going on?
The state government oversees pharmacies and pharmacists. I've run this program through the Board of Pharmacy and the Division of Insurance.
There's no doubt our hidden cameras uncovered a landscape of pharmacies confused by the new law, but it should also be noted we found a few that were able to navigate the changes.
Yeah, $60. Like it was like more than $300 before, but it brought it down to $60.
This Safeway in Arapahoe County and this King Soopers in Denver understood the law change. Now they're selling 2 EpiPens for $60.
$60 is your total.
We just need to make a few phone calls, but it's not like really complicated.
Is that every Safeway? Okay. How come other people can't do that?
I don't know. Maybe they are not trained well.
So we found a place that gets it.
Gives me some hope. I mean, it's a bright spot in a pretty tough set of videos here.
In the end, our test discovered nearly 70% of the locations we visited confused by the new law and lacking the knowledge or ability to sell us a pair of EpiPens for that discounted price.
I need to figure this out, because like I said, more people are gonna come with the same issue.
A learning moment?
A learning moment for sure. We can fix it. I'm sad about the 2.5 months that we've lost already.
We passed it this year.
Has that hidden camera video given you ammunition to fix this?
Absolutely. Now when these lobbyists come and say, it's not our fault, I can point at the video and say, yes, it is. Look at this. This is what's happening in pharmacies across our state. You, as a manufacturer, need to comply with the law and help this pharmacist do their job.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Responding to what our hidden cameras discovered, Senator Roberts is now reaching out to Colorado's Attorney General, the state's Pharmacy Board, and the Division of Insurance, looking for options to increase accountability and understanding of the new law. It's no accident lawmakers did include a $10,000 penalty for manufacturers failing to follow the new law. And speaking of manufacturers, there are lawsuits in the works right now by Big Pharma attempting to block the cost cutting of EpiPens. Clearly, there are several moving parts, and because we know this financial relief is critical to more than 500,000 Colorado residents with serious food allergies, our promise, our reporting, and our questions will not end here.
Tonight, a strong warning from the Colorado Attorney General after a Denver7 hidden camera investigation.
The state now looking for accountability after pharmacies across Colorado were not following a new law to make life-saving EpiPens more affordable.
Chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski continues pushing for answers after breaking this story in March.
It's still kind of just nerve-wracking.
Jackson Pugh is not alone.
Thinking if I eat something wrong that it could be life-threatening.
He's a high school rugby player and one of more than 500,000 Coloradans depending on the liquid inside this syringe to potentially save his life.
I just think it's kind of unacceptable that they're like so cheap to make and they're like extremely expensive.
And that's what led state lawmakers more than a year ago to search for solutions. And here's where it gets interesting. On January 1st of this year, a new law drastically cut the cost of EpiPens, forcing pharmacies to sell a pair of EpiPen injectors for $60, well below the $650 to $700 price point of the past. Sources telling us that there are some pharmacies not following the law. You need an EpiPen. What do you say to those pharmacies?
I think this is unacceptable. Are you so greedy for money?
Is there a plausible reason these pharmacies aren't getting it?
No. Pharmacies need to understand the message.
And that's why Colorado's Attorney General has gone on the offensive, sending this letter to pharmacies across the state.
Pharmacies are on notice right now. They need to follow the law.
Denver7 Investigates has confirmed Colorado's Attorney General has at least a dozen complaints about pharmacies throughout the state still failing to follow the new law.
Us as pharmacists and us as a company don't know what to do.
You are watching hidden camera video.
I honestly think most places just didn't know how to handle it.
Wow, that sounds really frustrating.
Oh, heck yeah.
Candid testimonials captured back in March are questions asking those in charge why they are not following the new state law.
You're my first person to do this.
First person?
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing yet.
We appreciate you putting a spotlight on this issue. The fact is that pharmacies shouldn't be playing games.
And Attorney General Weiser made that clear in this 2-page letter that included, we ask that if you are not doing so already, you promptly implement procedures necessary to comply with the law.
I understand you're still getting complaints. Do you want to name names?
We sent letters to Walgreens, to Kroger, to Albertsons, and to CVS because we had heard from consumers that they were not following the law. That's not okay. We put them specifically on notice. They need to follow the law or there will be consequences.
Consequences because the state law put in place more than 7 months ago should be helping EpiPen users like Jackson Pugh.
I understand that if a law isn't necessarily enforced, people aren't going to follow it because they either don't know or they're just like, I won't get caught. I think it's disgusting with some of these pharmacies that know about it and just won't drop the prices.
It's important to note the new law not only requires pharmacies to offer that $60 price when families know about the program, it also requires pharmacies to inform eligible families who might not be aware of that deep discount. Finally, if you know of a pharmacy not following the law, the Attorney General wants to know about it. We have attached a link to the reporting site on our web story available now at Denver7.com. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.